You've dropped your phone once, maybe twice, and every time your heart stopped before it hit the ground. But what if that fear just disappeared forever? In 2026, rugged smartphones go far beyond just being tough. We're talking flagship-level performance, jaw-dropping battery life, night vision cameras that see what your eyes can't, and features so unexpected, like built-in projectors, that they completely redefine what a smartphone can actually be. I've spent weeks testing, dropping, dunking, freezing, and pushing these devices to their absolute limits so you don't have to, and what I found completely changed the way I think about what a smartphone should handle. So, before you spend a single dollar on your next device, watch this all the way through. Because the number one pick is going to shock you. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 5 is the Ulefone RugKing 5 Pro. The Ulefone RugKing 5 Pro is not the kind of phone you forget in your pocket. It is a brutally overbuilt powerhouse engineered to survive harsh job sites and extreme outdoor environments that would destroy ordinary smartphones within minutes. First thing you notice is the massive 6.78-inch display, pushing up to 910 nits of brightness, which means even under brutal midday sun, everything stays clear and readable without fighting glare. It runs at 60 Hz instead of the flashy 120 Hz panels found on flagship phones, but out in the field, battery life and reliability matter far more than ultra-smooth scrolling. And battery life is where this thing gets ridiculous. 20,000 milliamp hours. Ulefone claims up to 1,300 hours of standby time, and in real-world use, you are looking at days, sometimes even weeks, between charges depending on usage. When it finally needs power, 33-watt fast charging gets it back up without wasting half your day plugged into a wall. Performance is powered by the Unisoc T7250 processor, which handles navigation, calls, maps, and everyday apps without issues, but heavy gaming and serious multitasking will expose its limits. You also get 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, giving you plenty of space for offline maps, media, and field data without constantly worrying about memory. The camera setup is surprisingly practical too. The 64-megapixel main camera handles daylight shots cleanly, but the real standout is the 20-megapixel IR night vision camera. In complete darkness without a flashlight, this thing can still see clearly. You also get a 16-megapixel front camera and Android 16 right out of the box, keeping the phone modern where it counts. Now, this is where the RugKing earns its name. It carries IP68 and IP69K protection, meaning it can survive underwater submersion and high-pressure water jets without flinching. Drop it onto concrete from around 5 feet, and the military standard 810H durability rating says it is built to take the hit. Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protects the display, while Waterlock mode prevents accidental touch inputs during heavy rain. But the feature that really grabs attention is the camping light built into the back. This thing packs 1,202 LEDs, pushing up to 976 lumens of brightness. At that point, you are not carrying a normal phone flashlight anymore. You are carrying a portable floodlight. Now, for the honest part, this phone is massive. It weighs around 1.39 pounds and measures nearly an inch thick, making it far heavier than a standard smartphone. Even Tech Radar joked that calling it pocketable is generous. A holster honestly makes more sense here. It is also limited to 4G connectivity, records 1080p video, and in the United States mainly supports T-Mobile-based networks, rather than AT&T or Cricket, so carrier compatibility matters. At $249 to $279, the RugKing 5 Pro is the most underpriced extreme phone on the market right now. Sliding into the number 4 is the DOOGEE S300 Plus Thermal. DOOGEE S300 Plus Thermal threw out every compromise the competition was making and delivered flagship power, thermal imaging, and military-grade toughness in one unstoppable device. The first thing separating this phone from the rugged market is the processor. Most rugged devices still rely on budget chipsets that struggle under heavy workloads, but the S300 Plus runs the MediaTek Dimensity 8300, a 4nm octa-core 5G processor paired with 12GB of LPDDR5X RAM. The display also feels far closer to a flagship smartphone than a field device. You get a 6.78-inch FHD Plus punch hole display running at 120Hz, making scrolling, animations, and overall responsiveness noticeably smoother than the 60Hz panels many rugged phones still use even in 2026. But the camera system is where this platform really separates itself. The main sensor is a massive 200-megapixel Samsung HP2 paired with a 64-megapixel night vision camera, an 8-megapixel telephoto lens with 3x optical zoom, and a 32-megapixel Sony front camera. That setup alone would already stand out on a premium smartphone, but the defining feature here is the built-in AI-powered thermal imaging camera running at 1440 by 1080 resolution. Thermal imaging inside a rugged 5G smartphone is still incredibly rare, and for inspections, search operations, emergency work, or nighttime field use, it adds capabilities most phones simply cannot offer. Power comes from an 11,000 mAh battery with 66-watt fast charging. IP68 and IP69K protection mean it can survive underwater immersion and high-pressure water jets, while military standard 810H testing covers drops, vibration, pressure, and harsh environmental conditions. Now here is the trade-off. At around 0.82 pounds and 0.71 inches thick, it is lighter than some massive 20,000 mAh rugged phones, but it is still much bulkier than a standard smartphone. In the United States, it works best on T-Mobile, while Verizon and AT&T compatibility can vary depending on local bands. And there is no 3.5mm headphone jack, which may matter for users relying on wired audio gear in the field. At around $750, the DOOGEE S300 Plus Thermal feels like the most technologically complete rugged smartphone currently available. Moving on to number 3 is the OUKITEL WP65G. The WP60 makes history as the world's first 7.2-inch mech-style rugged phone, wrapping that massive display inside a sleek, mech-inspired body that is slimmer than anything else in its class. And that is not marketing hype, it is a genuine design first. That display is huge. In the field, whether you are pulling up topographic maps, reading technical documents, or watching job briefings, the screen real estate changes everything. It runs at 120Hz, so scrolling feels smooth and responsive. The honest trade-off is resolution. It is 720 pixels on a 7.2-inch panel, resulting in about 239 ppi. Up close, text will not look as sharp as an FHD display. Brightness also peaks at around 500 nits, which means harsh midday sunlight can push its limits compared to brighter rugged phones. Powering it is the MediaTek Dimensity 7025, a 6nm 5G octa-core processor. It is not a flagship chip, but it handles navigation, communication, apps, and 5G connectivity smoothly without issues. It is paired with up to 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage, giving you plenty of room for maps, media, documents, and work files without slowdowns or storage anxiety. Battery life comes in at 10,000 mAh. It is not the extreme 20,000 class endurance style, but combined with an efficient 5G chipset, you are still looking at solid multi-day performance in real field conditions. The camera system is practical and work-focused. The main sensor is 108 megapixels, delivering detailed shots in good lighting. The standout feature is the dedicated 8-megapixel IR night vision camera, which works in total darkness without any light source. You point it and you see. It runs Android 15 with full Google Play support. Durability is exactly what you would expect from OUKITEL. It carries IP68 and IP69K ratings. meaning full waterproofing down to around 5 feet for 30 minutes, and resistance to high-pressure, high-temperature water jets. It is also military standard 810H, certified for 5-foot drops onto concrete, and tested to operate in extreme temperatures ranging from -49 degrees Fahrenheit to 167 degrees Fahrenheit, conditions where most phones would shut down completely. Corning Gorilla Glass 5 adds strong scratch and impact resistance to the display. Despite packing all of that in, the WP60 keeps a slim profile compared to traditional rugged bricks, weighs just 12.7 ounces, and delivers all of it for between $329 and $349, making it one of the most balanced rugged phones in its class. Moving on to number 2 is the Blackview XPLORE 2. Blackview looked at every rugged smartphone released in 2025 and decided none of them were ambitious enough. So they built the XPLORE 2 and proved exactly what ambitious actually looks like. Start with the display, because this is easily one of the most impressive screens ever put on a rugged phone. You get a 6.73-inch 3.2K AMOLED LTPO panel with a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate and up to 2,600 nits of peak brightness, bright enough to read in direct sunlight without squinting, while the AMOLED technology delivers deep blacks and color accuracy that no IPS rugged display can match. Performance is handled by the MediaTek Dimensity 8300, a 4nm octa-core 5G processor paired with up to 16GB of LPDDR5X RAM and up to 1TB of UFS 4.0 storage. This pushes it far beyond typical rugged performance limits, and with 4K 60fps recording support, it is capable of serious content creation and field documentation work. Battery life is another major highlight. The 20,000 mAh battery supports 120-watt fast charging, going from 0 to full in about 1 hour. That combination of huge capacity and rapid charging makes it practical even during long multi-day operations where downtime is not an option. The camera system is equally strong. You get a 50-megapixel Samsung main sensor with OIS and EIS stabilization, a 20-megapixel infrared night vision camera for low-light visibility, and a 50-megapixel front camera, all supporting 4K 60fps video. Now, the feature that sets this phone apart completely is the built-in projector. A 480-pixel projector is integrated into the top edge with a cooling fan and manual focus wheel, allowing you to project videos, briefings, or presentations onto any flat surface. You also get dual rear camping lights producing 467 lumens for strong illumination, plus satellite messaging support on select models for emergency communication in no network zones. Durability is fully covered with IP68 and IP69K protection for water and high-pressure resistance, along with military standard 810H certification for drops, shock, and vibration. Priced between $499 and $549, the XPLORE 2 pushes rugged phones into all-in-one field device territory. Now let's talk about my ultimate favorite rugged phone, the AGM G3 Pro. Released in late 2025, it does not scream for attention like most rugged devices. No projector, no walkie-talkie, no oversized 30,000 mAh brick battery. Instead, it focuses on something much harder to achieve, delivering professional-grade tools in a form factor that still feels like a phone you can carry every day. The display is a 6.72-inch FHD Plus LCD panel running at 120Hz. It is sharp, smooth, and responsive. Not AMOLED, but still bright enough for outdoor use without becoming a weakness. Power comes from the MediaTek Dimensity 7300, a 4nm 5G processor built for efficiency and stability. It is paired with 12GB of RAM, expandable virtually up to 24GB, so multitasking between maps, apps, and field tools stays smooth. Storage is 512GB, giving you plenty of space for job files, media, and thermal data without limits. The battery is 10,000 mAh with 33-watt fast charging, but the real standout is 18-watt wireless charging. The camera system is practical and professional. The main sensor is a 64-megapixel Sony IMX682, known for reliable color and detail in difficult lighting. Now the defining feature, the thermal camera. It uses a 512 by 384 thermal sensor running at 25 frames per second. The clarity is strong enough for professional field use. Durability matches the rest of the package. It is IP68 and IP69K certified, handling full water immersion and high-pressure jets. Military standard 810H testing covers 5-foot drops, vibration and thermal stress. So check carrier compatibility before buying, all for only $699. And that right there is every rugged phone worth your money in 2026. Look, I've sat through enough spec sheet videos to know most of them leave you more confused than when you started. So I genuinely hope today felt different. Every phone we covered was picked for a reason, reviewed with honesty, and compared without pulling a single punch, because your money and your trust deserve exactly that. If one of these phones clicked for you, drop it in the comments. I want to know which one spoke to you and why. Still on the fence between two of them? Tell me that too and we'll figure it out together. If this video gave you real value, hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it helps this channel reach the people who actually need this information. Subscribe if you haven't already, because more honest reviews and real-world breakdowns are coming that you don't want to miss.